Welcome, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Tom Matt Show. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Sandy, for bringing us in. Mitch, everything that you do, Vanessa, everything that you do, production staff keeps us going. And all of our guests and listeners appreciate you also very much. Thank you for joining us this week. Last week, Tommy Vento was here. Tommy Vento is a former quarterback at Michigan State University. He's in Denver now. He's a performance coach. Called that one from QB to coach. So if any of you remember Tommy Vento from 2010, 11 to 2015, 16, he was on all those really strong teams in the D'Antonio era. And it was just a very strong story about a young man who was Mr. Football in Michigan in high school, came to Michigan State, basically didn't do much as far as playing time because he had great guys in front of him, but he stuck around and he wrote it out and he stuck with the team and he's a team guy and he's all about learning and getting better. And the guy's just amazing because he could have easily went somewhere else like a lot of these guys do now with the NIL days. So check that one out. That was Tommy Vento from QB to coach. He's awesome and he's going to be back for sure. All right. My brother, another brother from another mother. This guy, who knows where we're going to go with this one. 15th visit to the show. Performance Living. If you hear Performance Living, you know it's Dr. Avellino. Dr. Avellino, Tony Avellino. Do I need to do his bio?
No.
Okay, let me do a little bit of it because I've done it 14 times before, or at least. Dr. Tony Anthony M. Avellino. Let me give his correct with all his like letters and stuff after his name. Anthony M. Avellino, MD, MBA, professor of neurosurgery. He's a guy. He's a pediatric neurosurgeon. That's all I'm gonna say. He's a pediatric neurosurgeon. He's got $1 million hands. And then the guy goes out on a fishing boat a couple of times in the Arctic Ocean with $5 million hands attached to his body. Only took him 30 years to go to college and learn how to do all this stuff. Then he goes out on fishing boats and, just risks it all. No big deal. That's Tony Avellino. We'll talk about his family here in a bit. I want to welcome back to the show. Calling this one Transitions in Life with my brother from another mother, Dr. Anthony Avellino. Tony, welcome back.
Tom, always great to be here, and I'm excited for where we go.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's always a
is
ride.
is because even though we actually have a topic, it always diverges. But I was intrigued, that what you said about quarterback to performance is so important, is because as you go through the journey of life, you have these ups and downs. But the quarterback that you just mentioned, I mean, having the resilience, having the ability just to stay with it. And I think people learn a lot more from that. So I am very honored to be back, and we will see where this goes.
Let's see how far we can digress off the road.
Exactly.
Performance live. I got to mention to you, we'll do, let's do, I've had some conversations with people about AI and we always talk about tech and stuff. And that's, again, here we go with digressing. But before we digress even more, let's talk about the fam. Michael, Ashley, Jen, what's going on? Catch everybody up. How's your life been? Go for it.
Yeah, Tom, things have been doing very well. My son Michael, he graduated last June. And it's interesting because working at Meta, uh, I went to Seattle in 1992, and it's interesting that my son is following the same path. But is he is very grateful to be out of college. He's very grateful to be working. And yeah, my daughter's beginning her second year of law school at ASU, and she's a fierce advocate. And my wife is doing great. In fact, she's flying to Houston this weekend to think about buying another horse. And so a guy from the Bronx that didn't like dogs, now he has two dogs, a horse, and maybe another horse. But it really gets back to what you and I discussed. What brings you joy? What brings you happiness? And my wife loves her horses. That's what brings her peace. And as we transition into this transitions of life, doing things that you really love to do is really important. So, but yeah, but. But most importantly, I heard that you've had a great summer. You've actually taught your grandkid how to play baseball. And I remember a few weeks ago when we actually spoke, you mentioned you worked with him, and then at one of the final games that you were at, he hit this fantastic hit. So well done, Grandpa.
Make me cry, man. I didn't teach him how to play baseball. I taught him how to focus
Yeah.
on just seeing things and just drilling down. It's like, okay, be aggressive when you're at the plate. And the funniest thing, everybody, when I talk to, because there's Papa Tom, grandfather, and then there's Coach Tom, trainer Tom, and we're totally two different people. To go to, and Tony knows this too, because when I coach people, I mean, it's like in your face, and I've done it with Tony many times. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. I don't play. I mean, when it comes to people come to me, they want honesty, they want to get better, and I only know one way, and that's the way we do it. So that's what I did with him, and it was there was some cursing going on, and there was some yelling, and there was some focus, and but he wants to do it, but some kids just they need to be instructed. They need to be fired up. And that's the thing. I think, Tony, people need to be inspired and just get fired up. And so, like you gave me the nickname, the mayor, and getting shit
The
done.
mayor.
And I just swore
The
on it.
mayor. Yeah.
I'm going to have to, Mitch will have to scratch that one out. But, you know, just get things done, get things done, get things done. And that's what he did. He got things done. He hit that walk-off triple, and it was just, I mean, he was a bomb too. I mean, he crushed this ball. So thank you for mentioning that. That was so, yeah, it was very, very
It's fun.
rewarding. And that's the type of thing, everybody, with these transitions in life that Tony and I are going to talk about today. Creating these memories lasts, they're so invaluable. You can't put a price tag on them. They're just so incredibly important. So I mean, Tony, you look back on your children and you see now Michael's working for Meta and he's out of college and he's a professional, and your daughter's gonna be out of law school in a couple years. And you can remember like yesterday when they were 5 years old.
Yeah. The biggest advice that I give my younger colleagues that are just having kids, slow down, pause, enjoy the journey, spend time with them, is because it goes by so quick. Because my son is 21, my daughter's 23, and it goes by really quick,
It
you know,
does.
and
It goes by
so
so quickly.
yeah,
All right, Tony, we're
yeah.
gonna come up on break here. Set this up now. We got a minute to go before we go to break. And we got performance living, of course, as we always talk about, but this one, transitions in life, is kind of a blend of artificial intelligence, technology, and the transition thing. Where do you want to go today?
It'd be great to really have a conversation about as you go through the journey of life, you go through multiple transitions, and every time you transition, it creates enormous amount of anxiety and stress. And I think just talking a little bit about that is because in the old days, people used to stay in jobs for years and years and years. Now, and people move like every 4 or 5 years. And as I transition to a role now over the last year, it really made me a pause and to think because sometimes you're climbing, climbing, climbing. You got to step back and pause.
We will come back and talk about that because that's what the show's about today, everybody. Dr. Tony Avellino's here with us, Performance Living. Transitions in life is today's topic. How we make the journey happen is up to us. We're going to try and help you get there. You're listening to The Tom Matt Show. Everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to this week's episode of The Tom Matt Show. Remember last week, Tommy Vento was here. I mentioned that. From quarterback to coach, former MSU quarterback, starting his own coaching services. Guy's awesome. You want to check him out. Quarterback to coach, Tommy Vento. Please check out that that episode. This segment sponsored by our brother from another mother, Brock Fletcher, the whole team, selling team, Stacy, Mikey, everybody, Sarah. How y'all doing over there? The selling team of Keller Williams, where trust is our middle name. And take it from us, from Sandy, from Tom. We had to get rid of Big House Holt. It was time. We didn't really want to do it. It happened. But we had good people who we could trust who helped us. And that's Brock Fletcher and his selling team. I want you to call them, please. 517-853-6408. Tell them you heard it from Tommy on the show. All the good referrals that were given to him. So it helps keep things going. That's why Brock's invested with us. You know, he wants to get his good word out there and then helping us figure out and buy Little House Lansing. Thank goodness for that. Mikey Deadman, you're the man. Call this number. I'm going to give you this number twice, everybody. 517-303-3262. 517-303-3262, or go online to kwsellingteam.com. And of course, you can go to our website, tommattshow.com, at the bottom of the homepage and click on through. Don't forget about the reality of real estate episodes. If you just want to check in, if you don't know anything about Brock or Stacy or Sarah or Mikey, go listen to the reality of real estate. There's like 25 episodes over there. That's what we do here. We find these really good guests. We stick with them. They help us help you. Please help them help you. They will help you. And that's why I'm trying to help you understand that the reality of real estate is really very, very, very important. So again, 517-303-3262 is Brock's cell phone. Tell him you heard it from Tommy, and away you go. Dr. Anthony Avellino, Tony Avellino, my brother from another mother. We're tight. Great guy. Great dad. Excellent husband. Transitions in life. We talk about this all the time. Refirement comes up quite a bit. So how many people do you know, Dr. Avellino, that have already gone through several phases of refirement and they don't even know it? I mean, because you know what refirement is because we've talked about it so many times. But in your career with these doctors and nurses and healthcare professionals, you know, people get burnt out. They do their thing. We've talked about that a lot. You've written a book about this. How many people don't even realize that they've gone through phases of refirement?
One of the most important things, Tom, as you and I age, is really raising awareness because as you go through the journey of life, you're climbing, and life goes by very, very quick. And you know, your story about teaching your grandson how to hit, um, and really resonates because I'm a firm believer that I try to ask my younger self, what would I do differently? And I think the important thing that yet people can do is they have to pause. Uh, you know, is really pausing because as you go through the journey of life and climb the ladder, you know, you go to high school, you go to college, you actually go to um, um, you find your first job, then you want to get married, then you have a kid, then you buy your house, then your kids grow up and then you're sitting on your porch, then you're getting older, then you know your eyes start going, you know your joints start hurting, you know your knees start going, your hips
You're
start
making it
going.
sound so
Yeah.
great.
You know, like you know,
Can we
right.
make it? Can we make this journey sound a little better?
Right. You know, but I mean, it's a you know, but I think the most important thing, you have to enjoy the journey. And it took me 50 years to understand that. You have to let the journey of life unfold. You have to let the journey of life unfold because life brings you curveballs. Your story, my story, you know, we learned along the way. And if we didn't have those ups and downs, I don't think we would be where we are today. But I think we missed things along the way. So that's why I think doing this transitions in life, just to raise awareness, uh, because life goes on very, very quickly.
Well, as you say in your notes, the transitions cause stress. And the thing about the stress is like I've called it the carousel of life many times where we're on this carousel for 20, 30, 40 years. And it might change a little bit more with the younger people staying for 4 or 5 years, then, you know, jumping around. But you're on this carousel. Even if you're on the carousel for 5 years, it's still your spin, 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 and then you fall off or you get off and you're dizzy. You don't like what you're seeing. You don't like what you see in the mirror, especially if it's been 20 or 30 years. You put on weight, you lost weight. You don't like your spouse. You don't like yourself, and so those transitions cause stress. But the thing is, Tony, that we get in such routines and such habits. You get up, you shower, you take the kids to school, you go to work, you come home, you do the thing, da-dun, 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 and it's just it's a repetition over and over, and then it changes, and then you got to get ready for it. But that's where you and I are going to come in and help people understand why it's important to manage these transitions. So let's set it up. You're talking about transitions cause stress from all the way from high school through college, pushing past your perceived limits. Take it from there, Tony. I mean, you got some really good points here. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so I I would say that there's 6 areas, um, because you have to balance the stress, but also in order to get better, in order to perform better, in order to enjoy life better, you have to have some type of resilience, because there's that quest of getting through something hard. And I think it depends on everyone. Some people need a little more stress to, and some need a little bit of less. But is what uh, what I say, the 6 things is: one, you have to acknowledge and accept your feelings. 2, you want to seek support. 3, you want to practice self-care. And that's really, how do you sort of find meaning in life, and how do you find that balance? Next is how you build a support network. And fifth, how you focus on what you can control. And then last, be patient with yourself, because I often say performance equals skill minus interference. What I mean by that, if you're an elite scholar, elite electrician, elite athlete, elite radio host, whatever you do, you can have all the skill in the world, but if you can't block out your whatever that interference is, if you're not happy and satisfied, if you're not in healthy relationships, if you're not doing purposeful work, if you're not showing compassion towards yourself, it's difficult to perform at your highest.
Hold that thought because I'm going to go to break here. Lots to talk about there with these 6 areas.
I know, a lot. There's a lot.
One thing that I want to
Yeah.
definitely are going to come back and talk about, but this being patient with yourself, as Dr. Avellino said, we'll cover all 6 of those because it's important to get Dr. Avellino's input on all of those things. Being patient with yourself. If we're going to have a solid and positive transition in life, got to have a plan. The plan of I'm going to retire and I'm going to play golf, or I'm going to retire and I'm going to go work in my garden is awesome. Great. Okay. It's not enough. There's got to be a lot more, because only fills up a very small portion of your life. And from there, we've got to manage it a little better. Transitions in Life with Dr. Anthony Avellino. You're listening to the Tom Matt Show. Welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the Tom Matt Show. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Sandy, for bringing us in. Our guest today is Dr. Anthony Avellino. I call him Tony. A lot of people call him Dr. Avellino. You can call him whatever you want, but he's the best. I mean, transitions in life. This is a huge topic. Before we jump back into it, I want to do a little quick, another read for Brock Fletcher and the selling team, Keller Williams, because they're sponsoring our program and we love them. They're awesome people. Love doing this read in this part of the show, because it's the testimonial portion of what the people talk about. These are real people who had real experiences with real good souls. And remember, you can always reach them at this main number, 517-303-3262. 517-303-3262. Don't be afraid to use it. Text, use the voicemail, however you want to do it. But that's Brock's personal cell phone number. But here's another excellent I love doing these testimonials. I love it when people have positive things to say about other people, because we don't have enough of that in the world. Working with a selling team to find our perfect home was an awesome experience. Same was with Sandy and I. I mean, it was rough at first, but it was great. We are very happy with our home purchase. They worked really hard with us to make it happen. And I like that line coming, that's from Erica from Lansing, Michigan. They worked really hard with us. That's what's going to happen with Brock and the team. They will work with you. They're not going to tell you what you need to do. They're going to help you figure it out. And that's why you want to call Brock. Again, phone number 517-303-3262. Go online to kwsellingteam.com because we love them and they're awesome people. Today's episode, Performance Living, Dr. Avellino. 15th time we've done this, becoming its own thing. Tom's transitions in life, Tom's take, Tony's take, how we want to do these things. Transitions in life are very, very important. Tony just gave us 6 areas. I want him to kind of repeat that again because we just kind of just very much quickly touched on it. But the one that really resonated with me as we ran through that quickly was being patient with yourself. Tony, can we start there with those 6 items
Sure.
and just kind of work our way backwards? Because I think that we are such the instantaneous gratification mindset nowadays. Need it now, need it yesterday, boom. We're so conditioned for this kind of stuff that we don't understand that it takes time. I mean, it took you a long time to become the excellent $5 million hand guy that you are with your pediatric neurosurgeon technology and skill set that you have. Why is it that we have to be more patient with ourselves?
I would add, Tom, social media adds to that because everyone thinks on social media you actually have this perfect life. Everyone's posting things. Oh, look at the great meal I'm doing. Look where I am. So I think the expectations uh, of life are a little different because social media just uh, everything is out there. But like you said, be patient with yourself. Showing compassion towards yourself is one of the most important things that you can do. Laughing at yourself when you make a mistake. One of my mentors used to tell me you have to have the 24-hour rule, meaning that you can stew over it, you can be sad over it, but after 24 hours, you know, eh, I would say it's a lot easier said than done.
Did you learn
But
that? Did you learn that being a college athlete? Because I've heard a lot of coaches say that,
uh
Tony, that you get 24 hours to either
that's
celebrate
it.
or have the sorrow. Did you learn that when you were playing college football?
Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah. And I think the more negativity in your life, the more stress, the more anxiety, the more inflammation in your body, the more pain you have, physical and mental pain. And so really, laughing at yourself, giving yourself a break, showing compassion toward yourself, adjust and adapt to the new situation that you're transitioning in. But most importantly, you have to enjoy the journey. And Tom, I cannot emphasize that enough because I never did that. I never did that. It took me until I was age 50 to finally realize that.
How many people do you think go through that, Tony?
A lot, tons of people. And I think one of the most important things why we do these performance living things is, just to raise awareness because sometimes you don't know. It is, yeah, you don't think of a transition meaning becoming a new parent or taking care of your aging parents or transition into a new job or moving to a new city. You think you're doing it, but you don't really understand. Well, that's a transition. It's going to cause you anxiety and stress, and just raise awareness, step back, pause is a really important thing.
I'd like your definition on your notes, Tony. Dr. Tony Avellino is with us today, everybody. It's a performance living, and this one's specifically on transitions in life. And this is really what the show for almost 15 years now has been all about is just this whole shifting of the mindset. But I'd like your definition of resilience. Would you like to talk about resilience and your well-being? Because it's a very good definition, and I think people need to hear this over and over and over and over. And we're not trying to just beat the dead horse, everybody, but just try to remind you. Would you please kind of give your take on that?
Yeah, it's balance. What I mean by that is to be resilient, you have to have some balance, being the balance between having a little bit of stress for you to perform better, or to you to think better, or for you to adapt better. But really, resilience is the ability to recover, adapt, and grow from stress. The acquired ability to recover, adapt, and grow from stress.
I like, you know what? I'm going to pause you for a second because it's when you say acquired ability. All right, Dr. Avellino, Mr. Education, acquired ability. When we coach people and we help elevate people, how can we help them acquire that ability? Because it's like sometimes they just got to figure it out on their own, but getting coaching and getting some input from others is very, very helpful as well. I mean, you've helped me tremendously.
Well, I would say that you have helped me more than you think, because really given, acquired meaning just pausing, learning, as you and I spoke about in the past, you have to listen, you have to learn, and you have to heal. And what I mean by that, you have to listen to yourself, because your addiction story, my mental health and suicide story is not unique, but you have to learn from it. You have to acquire the ability to recover, adapt, and grow. But the other thing, you have to heal from it too. And healing is really internalizing it, exactly what you said, the acquired ability. How you can acquire all the learning skill sets to just live a more joyful life.
We all go through this, the bumpiness of life. And what Tony's saying about enjoying the ride took him 50 years to figure out the ride. I like to say, you know what, Tony, you're going to live to 100, 110 years old. Okay. So you took 50 years. So you got 50 or 60 more to go. Make good use of it because perhaps that's the journey, everybody. Right, Tony? I mean, perhaps that's just the path that you're on and you had to go through. I had to go through all of the steps and all of these lessons. Give me a 30-second lesson that you went through that helped you become more resilient.
Um, Learning that you didn't do a good job, uh, not thinking that you're the best and being perfect all the time, and really taking a pause.
And coming from a doctor, a pediatric neurosurgeon, that is such humility to be able to say that. And once you go through this adversity, everybody, guess what happens? You develop confidence and you develop the ability to have and be vulnerable. And when you have that ability, like Dr. Avellino, he took that pause for a second to thought. He didn't know I was going to ask him that question. That's the thing about this thing. I throw him some sideways questions. You've got to be resilient. You've got to understand that it's part of the journey. We're going to talk more about the journey when we come back. Dr. Anthony Avellino is here. Transitions in life, it's performance living. Let's perform better together. This is the Tom Mann Show. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate everyone so much for listening to the Tom Mann Show. Dr. Anthony Avellino is our guest today. I call him Tony. Kids call him Dad. Jen calls him Take Out the Trash. By the way, you didn't talk about your puppy, but we'll get to the dog later because the dogs we talked about the horses and all this, but the dog's a big part of your life too. I mean, everybody has parts of their life that's very, very important. So in the transition in life that we're talking about today with performance living, your pet, it brings you tremendous joy, and so we got to throw some love to you. Let's do it right now. Let's just talk
Parker,
about how important
Parker. Yeah,
Parker,
Tom,
how important Parker is to you.
I've told this story multiple times, but I hate dogs. When I turned 50, my wife and I and kids said, they really want a dog. So I bent, and I must say that this cockapoo Parker, he's 9 now, and this Parker has totally changed my life. I became a dog hater to a dog lover, and Parker, he is, I mean, he's my best friend, and he's, I would argue that he's been one of the primary drivers to really make me rethink and slow down. Because dogs, have one owner per se. Human beings have multiple dogs. I don't know.
That's such a good story, and I'm glad that I just sort of threw that out there because
Yeah.
how important. Okay, so we're the topic today, everybody. The title of today's episode. It's always performance led, but transitions in life. And you just alluded to it. My mom went through the same thing when she was before she got remarried after my stepdad passed. After many many years of being married, she got a little dog too. It really made a big difference in her life.
Huh.
But Parker's made a big difference in your transition, and it's so interesting to see how you light up. And I've been around. I mean, we've been to Tony's house, everybody. We've stayed at Tony and Jen's house and been around the beautiful place and just a wonderful, wonderful animal. And to see the way he's like a little animal. He's or like a little human. He's like a
Exactly.
little human.
Yeah.
He rides in his little seat. He's got his little spot. He's got his oh, the good stuff. But that's part of it, was Tony said earlier in the episode, everybody, part of the journey. Okay, let's get back to it. We talked about resiliency. We're continuing on with this time management, Tony.
S-
Let's talk about time. I call it chunking.
Yeah.
I learned
Yeah.
about chunking time. How do you manage your time? You're such a busy guy. How do you do it?
I mean, um,
He's
you
laughing.
know, but let me just get back to the dog is
Hey,
because because you mentioned the refirement zone, and instead of retirement, how do you refirement, and it really gets back to as you go through these transitions again, thinking about what is your purpose, what's your meaning in life, and what brings you joy. So yeah, you know but but I think one of the things you can do is time management is I would sort of break it down as prioritizing things that are important to you and having the ability to say no. And I think have a separation from your personal life and work life. It's a lot easier said than done. I don't do it 100% perfect, but I think having managing your time, because there's so much there's so many hours in a day, and you can get caught up climbing that life goes by, and really again slowing down and having the ability to prioritize what's important to you.
so important. When I called it the chunking, everybody, time management, you find these little windows throughout your day, and we fill up these windows or we just disregard these windows and we just sort of let it slide by. Then I'm talking 5, 10, 15 minutes chunks throughout your day. Got me through my undergraduate in my 40s, my graduate work in my 40s. There's no way that I could have done this stuff. Tony, I want
Hmm.
to get your, I forgot to get the contact info. We got so caught up with Parker. I wanted to get your contact info. I want to bounce back to that real quick. So if people want to find you, I apologize for that, but the Parker story was it was just popped out so quickly. It's like, okay, that was great. But please, how do you want people to get a hold of you if they want to get more stories about Parker or Jen or any of
Yeah,
that
exactly.
parenting tips? How do you want people to get a hold of you?
My book is Finding Purpose: A Neurosurgeon's Journey of Hope and Healing. My website is findingpurposeavellino.com. And you can email me at findingpurpose37@gmail.com. And I welcome thoughts, I welcome insights, because at the end of the day, is how we could develop a community to share stories. And I think the most powerful thing that your radio does, that I've told you multiple times over, is stories resonate, and raising awareness around stories is really important.
So
Having the ability to be vulnerable um, and telling the stories is critical.
it is so critical. I mean, it really does. Let's tell stories about healthy eating, sleep, and exercise habits. Let's tell some stories about that. You are a crazy athlete. I mean, you are an endurance athlete. Let's talk about your sleep, eating, exercise habits. People want to know, how does the doctor handle it? How does Jen handle it? How does because everybody's different. You got any tips on all of those things?
I would say that um, the most important thing is to find balance, but also I would say one of the most critical things anyone can do is sleep. Sleep is one of the most powerful things that you can do. Getting 7 hours or more of sleep is critical, and I don't think people understand how important sleep is. Sleep gives your body to recharge, refresh. And I know for me is if I sleep 7 hours straight, I feel great. But if I'm waking up in the middle of the night and I get less than that, uh, it is really tough.
It's supremely hard, and if you don't have, and having a sleep disorder as I do because I have sleep apnea, I
Hmm.
understand how important that the sleep is. And let me segue here from that, everybody. If you have a snoring issue, if your spouse says if you're tossing and turning, go get a sleep study done. Let me give you a tip. Get a sleep study done. They're very easy to do. They're not that expensive. Insurance will cover it for you, and just find out. Tony, what's that's the whole thing about moving forward to the building blocks of success and turning obstacles into opportunities. It's like gathering the information. The building blocks to success are all about gathering information, gathering people, learning, all of those things. Let's segue into that. We got a few minutes to go before we go to break here, but that whole line of thinking with the building blocks of success and all.
Yeah, yeah. You are a continuous learner, and having the ability to learn from others, to learn from people's stories, and just to like read and learn, is really important.
It's so important, everybody. The reading for me has been is I was never a really very good reader, and I didn't read it that much. All it is, everybody, is just practice, just like everything else. Just do a little bit at a time, little bit at a time, little bit at a time. Tony, we got a minute to go before let's set this up for the next segment because we got to go into the wonder drug and we're almost through with this other part of the list. But kindness and compassion, love, and respecting yourself. Touch on that for a second, please. How important is all of those things and incredibly influential in our quality of our life?
uh, Building a support network, having healthy relationships and having others to share the trials and tribulations of life. But really, it gets back to developing those healthy relationships.
It's all about healthy relationships. It's like with Tony and I when we first met years and years ago. It was just crazy how things occur. Vinny Gore introduced us. We were walking into one of the dining
Yeah.
halls at Michigan State.
Uh,
Matter of
Yeah.
fact, I just got done with the interview with Vinny, and
Oh,
it's going to air on
okay.
radio. I think this weekend, and so that
Hmm.
podcast will be going out soon, and everybody can check that out. So it's these people that we become connected with, the ones that show us the kindness, the ones that show us the compassion, the one that give us tough love. And I've told we had that story. If you didn't hear that story with Vinny and I, go check it out because he is the king of giving me tough love. Like it's like Tony gives me the tough love, and I give Tony tough love. That's what friends do. We want everyone to get better. We come back. We're going to talk about Wonder Drugs, book that Tony is very, very in depth with. Dr. Avellino's here, calling this one Transitions in Life, Performance Living. You're listening to the Tom Mann Show. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. I love it when my guests call me Tommy. I used to hate
Um,
it when I was a kid, because it was like, man, that sounds so young, sounds so. But you know what? All my radio friends, they use that, and it's cool, it's fun, and it's like makes me feel a little younger. So I appreciate it. Thank you for saying it. Dr. Avellino's with us, Dr. Anthony Avellino, my brother from another mother, MD, MBA. Got more letters after his name than I do. That is for darn sure. We're finishing off this excellent topic of transitions in life that Tony's done over here. He knows he understands the refirement zone very, very well. And we talked about this in this episode, how everyone goes through the refirement zone multiple times in your life. You just don't know it. But now that I've put a name on it and you can say, well, I'm in the refirement zone. I'm always going to be in the refirement zone. I'm always looking to improve. I'm always looking to get better. All right. So you've got this well, you talked about kindness and the powerful and being empathetic and compassionate and grateful and all those good things. Let's lead that into the wonder drug doctors Terziak and Mazzarelli and
Yes.
seven scientifically proven ways that serve others is best medicine for yourself. It's a good way to close this show because we're talking about transitions. And let me tell you guys, before I turn this over to Dr. Avellino to have him reinforce this very important topic, it has made a difference in my life. It absolutely has made a difference in my life. Doing this radio program, sharing this information, our guests with all of you every week, and doing these things and all the podcasts has made me better. I didn't know that at the time. I just thought it was going to be a job. It's way, way more than a job. It's way, way. It's not a job. It's a purpose. It's a passion play. Okay, wonder drug time. Let's talk about the seven scientifically proven ways. I know you've been waiting to talk about this. You got the rest of the episode to talk about this, Dr. Avellino, my brother. Go ahead.
As I've gone through my journey, is one of the most important things to have to perform at your best and to have to prevent burnout is there's a whole host of things you can do. But serving others is one of the most important things that someone can do. And if you've not read this book called The Wonder Drug, I
Great.
would be good because it really changes your thinking about how to prevent burnout, how to perform better. And as you said, Tom, what your radio show does is really connecting people, developing a community, but serving others. And really, in this book, they go through a few things that are really important. One, you want to start small. Two is you want to be thankful. Three, you want to be purposeful. Four, you want to find common ground. Uh, Next, you want to see it, you want to elevate it, and you have to know your power. And so if we go through it, when they say start small, it's really how you can really do some kind acts, showing compassion and selfless services to others. And could come in all different ways,
Do you feel like,
by
excuse
yeah.
me, do you feel that doing this radio program is part of your helping others and doing that compassion? Do you feel like that's part of the whole mission?
Yeah, I would say, Tom, another important thing that has helped me heal is sharing my story
Mhm.
enables me to show vulnerability and to help others. And I can honestly say that once I came forward with my story in 2019, I think I've done more good and I received more letters from people. Oh, it really gave me the opportunity to pause and change and reevaluate things. I would say sharing my story with you, with your listeners, and being on your show has helped me heal.
Thank you for saying that. I mean, that's what we do here. We want to get better. I need to heal every day.
Mhm.
We need to get better. There's so many things in my life that I need to get better at. And it's like, it's always a work in progress, everybody. It's never a fixed stone. When you become the fixed stone, the statue, it's over. I mean, we got to continue to grow and be thankful. With the next point on Tony's list here, being thankful. I just did this little thing that you have here. I'm going to let you talk about that. I'm going to give you a comment here, but please go ahead, talk about being thankful.
Writing a handwritten thank you note or calling someone up and saying thank you, I appreciate you. Um, and the one thing I learned from one of my other mentors is really how to show appreciation in front of someone's peers. That is more meaningful than sort of a monetary gift, but if you're in a meeting, but really showing appreciation and showing thankfulness among their peers and colleagues is really meaningful.
So huge. I had a conversation on a previous show, and Brock Fletcher mentioned a listener. Not going to mention any names now because I don't want to embarrass anybody, but I will someday. But I wrote a thank you note to this listener. I asked because Brock was so nice about the listener who listens to the show every Sunday on WKR at Michigan State, lives out in Williamston. She knows who I'm talking about. And I sent her a thank you card. I wrote her a little note and I said, "Thank you for being a fan of the show." I don't do that often. But when people, because you don't hear much from people, but doing the thank you note is, it just made me feel good. Sent a note to Brock, said, "Thank you for telling me about this. I hope that I appreciate, I'm very grateful for every single person that listens to this radio program." So, yes, thank you notes are very, very important. I mean, and we're not talking a text message, we're not talking a Facebook post, we're talking a letter, a
A
stamp,
written note.
a
Yeah,
note handwritten with a
yeah.
stamp you get in your mailbox, that kind of stuff here.
Amen.
We're going to run out of time here, and I want to get through these other topics here that you got. You're almost through it, but being purposeful, can you run through that for me, please?
Yes. Uh, so really doing things that make someone's day a little bit better. But really being part of something larger than yourself, not thinking about yourself, but thinking about others, is actually key.
It's so huge. It's so huge. Okay, next one. Finding common ground. What did you mean by finding common ground?
Yeah, so in the world that we live in, it's so politically divided. And I often say when I was growing up in the 1970s and 80s, we could have honest conversations. But now it's so right and left, and we need to bring people back. But what they mean by this is, even regardless of the differences you have or the difficulties that you have with each other, you can always find common ground. We all have children. We all want the best for our children. We all, the sun rises every morning. Everyone cries. And so finding those things that there's common ground sort of brings down the temperature and allows people to serve others better.
Being living in a siloed world, Tony and I have spent many, many years of our lives in higher education and big organizations. And there's nothing that can hurt a big organization worse than the silo, because then everybody in the silo, you lose sight of the common good of the organization. And this, now your focus is on the silo. We got to make the silo work. I don't care about the organization. No, you do want to care about the organization. You do want to care about the university as a whole. Don't care about just yourself and stop being so damn selfish. I mean, it's just one of those things where we got to step our game up here. And let me go into Coach Tom speak. And boy, I can get crazy with this stuff, but don't be so dang selfish and think about other people. All right, elevate. See it. Can you blend see it and elevate together?
Yeah. Yeah, so really, I often told my kids is surrounding yourself that you want to be like, friends wise, but you want to gravitate people who do kind things for others and are happy about it. Because if you're around people that are kind, that are really serving others, volunteering, or really doing good, it will boost your own happiness. Because again, I often say you have to balance that negativity. We have so much negativity in the world. How do you channel 20% of that negativity into positivity and surrounding yourself with people that really want to will will sort of elevate everyone.
Tony, give me 30 seconds on knowing your power.
Yeah, so knowing your power meetings, it's not about you, it's not about me, it's not about your ego, but it's really, again, as you go through the journey of life, how you learn what your talents are, and how you strengthen those relationships, how you form a community around your friends. Because having sort of a positivity and a community where people are like-minded and want to do good, because anything that brings down chronic stress is good, because chronic stress leads to systemic inflammation, brings down your immune system, and chronic disease in America is such a prominent thing. So really, hope matters, and you have to believe in yourself.
He is Tony Avellino, Dr. Avellino. He's my friend, and he is the man. Transitions in life, performance living. If our show fits your business or group's mission, we want to be of service to you through our guests. Please let us know. Sponsorships are available, but you got to fit it. Okay, so send us a note. Always remember, before you can share love with others, you must love yourself first. Thank you to Dr. Anthony Avellino, for Jen for letting him come over, Mikey, your dad's awesome. Ashley, your dad's awesome. Sandy, Brock, everybody else, Vanessa, Mitch. We'll talk to everybody next weekend. Have a great week, everybody. Go out and ignite your life. Remember, the Tom Hanks Show is a production of Boomers Rock Media. We want to bring your story to life. Thank you so much for joining us. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are out. Dr. Anthony Avellino, love that guy so much. He is such the great guy. I just can't say enough about him. Performance living, transitions in life. We're doing more of this performance living. Love it. It's so interesting. It's so fun. And Tony's just the best. And I mean, he does not have to continue to help us like all of our guests. So I appreciate all of the guests, and I appreciate all of the listeners and all of the viewers and everybody who subscribes to the show. Thank you so much. Please support our sponsors, Brock Fletcher and the whole team at the selling team. They really help us keep us on the air. And that's all there is to it. I mean, that's the bottom line. And if you're looking to find a radio program that might fit for you and you want to invest some marketing money, hit me up. I've got some thoughts on some things. If you have a bank, if you're a banker, a closing company, a title office, something like that, insurance, finance, those are the types of things I'm looking for right now. If those things fit your bill, let me know. And I'll be happy to talk to you about it, get you some numbers, and we can go from there. Until next time, everybody, I'm Papa Tom. Been the Tom Matt Show. Peace out. Love y'all. Have a great week. Talk to you soon.